I'm telling you, Adam, this place is a total tourist trap. The lines, the overpriced food, this isn't a real cultural experience. It just seems completely overrated.
A tourist trap? Are you kidding me? It's a classic for a reason. It's a treasure, packed with history and incredible sights. You're just being cynical. Ever been there? You're so excited about a trip, but your travel partner is, let's say, less than enthusiastic. You think you found a hidden gem, but they're convinced it's a ripoff. This argument happens all the time, but the real trick is having the right English words to win.
Or to talk your partner out of a really bad idea. In this lesson, you'll master the exact English phrases you need to debate your way to the perfect vacation. We'll give you the language to decide for yourself if a destination is a tourist trap.
Or a timeless treasure. By the end of this video, you'll be able to express your opinions, persuade your friends, and plan your travels with way more confidence. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've got the perfect first day all mapped out. We get up at the crack of dawn, head straight to the Crystal Spire, and then we can grab lunch at that world-famous cafe right next to it.
You mean the one with the 3-hour line I saw on that travel blog? Adam, I'm really not sure about this. The whole area just screams tourist trap. I read reviews saying it's unbelievably crowded and everything costs a fortune.
But it's iconic. You can't come all the way here and not go to the Crystal Spire. Just look at these pictures. It's breathtaking.
The pictures are nice, but I'm skeptical. I have a feeling it's one of those places that looks amazing on Instagram, but is a total letdown in real life. Honestly, it sounds completely overrated. I'd rather not burn a whole day just to take one picture.
A waste? It's the most famous landmark in the country. How can you call it a waste?
Because I've been to places like this before. You shell out a ton of money, wait in line forever, and you're shoulder to shoulder with thousands of other people. The food is always mediocre, the souvenirs are tacky, and the whole experience just feels inauthentic. I'm just not convinced it's worth the hype. Okay, let's break that down. In that argument, I used a few key phrases to show I was doubtful. These are your best friends when you want to question a plan politely, but firmly. First and foremost is tourist trap. A tourist trap is a place basically designed to attract tourists and their money. It implies the place is overpriced, inauthentic, and definitely not somewhere locals would hang out. Think of a restaurant with a flashy sign in 5 languages right next to a landmark, selling a traditional meal for triple the normal price. That's a classic tourist trap. The trap part suggests you're being lured into something that isn't worth your time or money. Next up, I said it sounds overrated. When something is overrated, it means its reputation is better than the reality. People think it's more amazing than it actually is. You can use this for anything, a movie, a restaurant, you name it. Saying, honestly, it sounds completely overrated is a strong way to say you think the popular opinion is just wrong. Then, I used the phrase I'm skeptical. Skeptical is just a smarter sounding way of saying you have doubts and you're not easily convinced. It's more formal than I don't believe it. You could say, Adam is excited about the all-inclusive resort, but I'm skeptical about the food quality. It signals that you'll need a little more proof before you get on board. Finally, a phrase you have to know. It's a rip-off. This is a super common, informal way to say something is way too expensive for what you're getting. If you pay $10 for a tiny bottle of water, that's a total rip-off. In a travel debate, you might say, paying $50 to enter a museum with only 2 rooms is a complete ripoff. It's a strong phrase, so save it for when you feel the price is just plain unfair. So now it's Adam's turn to convince me. And just saying, but it's nice, isn't going to cut it. He needs some better language.
Exactly. I can't just repeat my opinion. I need to counter her points with something more persuasive. Let's try that again. Okay, just hear me out. I get why you'd think it's a tourist trap, but I honestly think this place is different. It's not just some popular spot. It's like a genuine hidden treasure in plain sight.
A hidden treasure? It's literally the most photographed building in the entire country. What part of that is hidden?
The part that most people miss. They just take their picture and leave. They don't explore the little side streets or the garden behind it. I read about this small, family-run bakery a block away that's supposed to be incredible. We can go there. That's totally off the beaten path.
Off the beaten path? Adam, the path to the Crystal Spire is probably paved with the credit cards of tourists.
That's my point. We can do it our own way. The Crystal Spire itself is a must-see. Every travel guide says it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I don't want to go home and have everyone ask, "Did you see the spire?" and have to say no. I'd have serious FOMO, fear of missing out.
FOMO is not a solid foundation for a travel itinerary.
Maybe not, but look, I promise it'll be more than just a photo op. It's about the history, the sheer scale of the architecture. I really think you'll be impressed if you just give it a chance. See? A little better, right? I acknowledged her point, but then reframed the situation with more positive, persuasive language. Let's look at those phrases. The total opposite of a tourist trap is a hidden treasure. This is something amazing that isn't widely known. It suggests you've discovered something authentic and valuable. I was being a little playful by calling the spire a hidden treasure in plain sight, which is a way of saying that even popular things can have deeper value if you look closely. Next is a great idiom, off the beaten path. This literally means going where most people don't. It suggests a unique and authentic experience away from the crowds. For example, I want to get away from the tourist traps and find a village off the beaten path. Using this shows you're looking for something more original. I used it to convince Jessica we could visit the popular spot and still have our own unique adventure. Then I hit her with 2 classic persuasive phrases. First, a must-see. Simple, but powerful. It means a place is so important or so good that everyone should see it. The Grand Canyon is an absolute must-see for anyone visiting Arizona. It creates a sense of importance. I paired that with a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This is for something truly special that you probably won't get a chance to do again. It adds urgency. Climbing Mount Everest is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. By using it for the Crystal Spire, I tried to elevate it from just another activity to something unforgettable. And don't forget how I started. Hear me out. This is the perfect way to begin when you know the other person might disagree. It's a polite way of asking them to listen to your whole idea before shutting it down.
All right, so Adams made some good points, but I'm still not sold on the whole day. Now we have to get into the specifics of the activities. Let's just say I agree to see the spire. What about after? That cafe you mentioned is famous for its glitter coffee. That sounds so gimmicky. I want an authentic experience, not something designed purely for an Instagram post.
Gimmicky? It's fun. It's kind of part of the quirky local culture now. But fine, We can skip the cafe. What about the Museum of Wonders next door? It's supposed to have some incredible historical artifacts.
I looked it up. It's full of replicas, and the gift shop is filled with the most tacky souvenirs. You know, plastic models of the spire and cheesy t shirts. I think I'd rather skip it.
You're impossible. What do you want to do then? Just wander around and hope we stumble upon something interesting?
Exactly! That's how you find the real city. I want to get away from it all, get lost in the back streets, and find a real local market. That, to me, is a once in a lifetime experience, not standing in line to see a replica.
Fine. But what if we just get lost? What if we can't find anywhere decent to eat?
That's part of the adventure. We'll be spontaneous. It's better than having every single minute of our day planned around places that are just totally commercialized. In that last part, our disagreement got way more specific. We used words to describe the quality and feel of the experience. These are so important for talking about what you actually value in your travels. Let's start with my main goal: an authentic experience. An authentic experience is something real and true to the local culture, not something manufactured for tourists. Eating at a tiny, family owned spot where all the locals are yelling and laughing, that's authentic. A cultural dance show invented last year for a hotel? Not so much. On the other hand, I describe the coffee as gimmicky and the souvenirs as tacky. A gimmick is basically a clever trick to get attention or business, but it often has no real value. Glitter in coffee is a perfect gimmick. And tacky means something is cheap, in poor taste, and low quality. Those bright pink plastic souvenirs are the definition of tacky. Then I use the phrase, "I'd rather skip it." This is just a polite but very clear way to say you don't want to do something. It's much softer than "I refuse to go." For example, I'm not a huge fan of modern art, so I think I'd rather skip that museum. It's super useful for finding a compromise.
And I brought up the word commercialized. When a place becomes commercialized, it's all about making money, sometimes at the expense of its original purpose or soul. Jessica was worried the whole area around the spire had become commercialized, losing its history to gift shops and expensive tickets. All right, this is the final and most important stage of any travel debate: the compromise. If we don't find a solution here, somebody's going to be miserable for the whole trip. It's time to use language that brings our ideas together. Okay, look, I totally see your point about the museum and the tacky souvenirs. You want adventure and authenticity. I want to see the big, iconic landmark. We just need to meet in the middle.
I'm listening. What's the proposal?
How about we go to the Crystal Spire first thing in the morning, like I wanted? We get there at the crack of dawn, beat the traffic and the worst of the crowds. We see the main site, snap some great photos, and get out of there before it becomes a complete zoo.
And then, no glitter coffee?
No gimmicky coffee. After the Spire, the rest of the day is all yours. We can get lost in those back streets you talked about, find that market, and eat at whatever authentic-looking place you can hunt down. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Really? You'd be okay with having no plan for a whole afternoon? Just wandering?
Yeah, it could be fun. It's definitely a change of pace from my usual color-coded spreadsheet style. So I get my must-see landmark, and you get your authentic, off-the-beaten-path adventure. Deal?
You know what, Adam? That sounds fair enough. It's a deal.
And just like that, we have a plan. This only worked because we started using the language of negotiation and compromise. Let's quickly review those key phrases. The number one phrase here is meet in the middle. This idiom means to compromise, where each person gives a little to reach an agreement. You want Italian, and I want Mexican. Let's just meet in the middle and get pizza. It's the perfect expression for any negotiation. Next, I started my suggestion with, how about we? This is a fantastic, gentle way to propose an idea. How about we leave early is so much more collaborative than demanding we should leave early. It invites the other person to agree with you.
And when I agreed, I said, fair enough. This is a super common casual way to say, okay, that sounds reasonable, or I accept that. It signals that you think the compromise is balanced and you're ready to move forward.
And I showed my flexibility by saying, I'm willing to give it a shot. This means you're ready to try something you're not totally sure about. It shows your partner that you trust them and you're open to their ideas, even if they make you a little nervous, like having no plan. With these phrases, you're not just arguing anymore. You're working together to build the perfect trip.
So, there you have it. You now know how to express skepticism, persuade someone, discuss the nitty-gritty details of an activity, and most importantly, how to land on a compromise.
Remember, the goal isn't to win the argument. It's about communicating what you want clearly, so you and your travel partners can plan a trip that everyone is excited about. Language is the tool that gets you there. Now, let's watch that whole conversation one more time, with all the phrases, and see how it flows. Okay, I've got our first day totally planned out. We get up at the crack of dawn, head straight to the Crystal Spire, and then we can grab lunch at that world-famous cafe right next to it.
You mean the one with the 3-hour line? Adam, I'm skeptical. The whole area sounds like one giant tourist trap. I have a feeling it's going to be completely overrated.
A tourist trap? Hear me out. I get why you'd think that, but I think it's a genuine hidden treasure in plain sight. Most people just take a photo and bail. We can explore the side streets and find a place that's totally off the beaten path.
I don't know. Those places are often a rip-off. And what about the activities? I saw the cafe serves glitter coffee. It sounds so gimmicky. I want an authentic experience.
Okay, we can skip the coffee. But the spire itself is a must-see. Every guide says it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
I'd rather skip all the tacky souvenir shops and replica museums around it, though. That's just not my idea of a vacation.
I see your point. You want adventure, and I want the landmark. We need to meet in the middle.
I'm listening.
How about we go to the Crystal Spire first thing to beat the crowds? We see the main site, then the rest of the day is yours to explore. No plans. I'm willing to give it a shot.
So I get my adventure, and you get your landmark? Fair enough. That sounds like a great deal.